Thank you so much, Dr. Sunita, for that. I don't think you rushed through it. A lot of point has been raised there. So while I give, you may stop sharing now if you want to.
Okay.
While I would love to suggest to us that if you have a question, if you want to start by lifting your hand. Yes, we appreciate you. Can we just show reactions that you appreciate, Doctor? Thank you for your time. Yes, she's a busy person and she has make up time to be with us this afternoon. We appreciate it. Yeah, so we're gonna go to Q&A now, which I believe is the most important part of this discussion this afternoon. We have on the panel Toby. I've introduced Toby to us earlier on, but for the purpose of those who have just joined us, Toby is a professional, is a mental health professional. And she with Dr. Sunita, who is a psychologist doctor, who is a clinical psychologist doctor. They're going to be helping us this afternoon. So I'm just going to ask you a question to both of you. Someone just sent a question that I'm worried because I'm worried that I might be sectioned if I seek help for the mental health issues that I'm going through. What should I do?
Do you want to answer that, Toby?
Okay. It's okay to be worried. But what is not okay is to stay worried. I've been working in the psychiatric intensive care unit for a lot of years now, and I can assure you that people just don't get sectioned because they have mental health problem. It must precipitate to a level of risk to themselves, people around them, the community, based on their mental health, risk to their own mental health and even physical health. So there's a threshold to consider sectioning. And I tell you, I can assure you, sectioning is the last thing we want to do as mental health professionals. We don't want to do it. We want to promote people living in community if it's safe to do so. So please feel free. It's okay to be worried, but what is not okay is to stay worried and leave your mental health condition the way it is, because things will get worse if you do need help. However, if you do seek help on time, you will get the help you need and you will avert what you're fearing, what your anxiety is, or being sectioned. So I say, it's okay to be worried. Don't stay worried. Seek help.
Thank you so much, Toby, for that. Doctor, do you want to say something about that as well?
I mean, I think Toby said it all. I think it's so important that you do seek help. You don't stay worried. Also, I mean, often being sectioned is about when service users or patients, clients, but whatever you want to call them, is, you know, when you don't have or you lack insight. But it sounds like, you know, even you mentioning that you are having difficulties doesn't illustrate that you lack insight. I mean, it sounds as though you do want to get help, but obviously that worry is acting as an obstacle. So it's so important that you, you know, I mean, if you feel that it's too, you feel too vulnerable to go to the GP, you know, maybe talk to a family friend or somebody that you can trust who can point you in the right direction. But I think to stay worried is and to remain alone in all of this is only going to, I guess, worsen the symptoms.
Thank you, Doctor. And I'll say that you could also talk to Dorcas. That's why we created Dorcas. It's a platform for conversation. If we have someone who is worried about their mental state or what they're going through, please feel free to reach out to Dorcas. Another question for you, Toby, is it true that if I seek help for my mental health or my mental illness, will my children be removed from my care?
Okay, thank you for that question. The answer, it's not going to be a black and white thing, but I can assure you, again, the last thing mental health professionals want to do, the social services want to do, is to take your children away from you, because those could be your protective factors, what we call protective factors that keeps you going. Yeah. So what we need to do is to first line of defense, get to have a chat with the GP. Dorcas is there. You could call the relevant. There's so many lines support systems where you could call and they will listen to you. Your children is the last thing to be removed from you. Your children are important for your mental health. Removing your children could actually make things worse for you. Could bring your mental state to a place where we don't want, and we impact on your children. And what we want to protect is your mental state as well as your children's. So taking your children away from you is the last resort. However, I will be honest, if it is considered that your mental state has precipitated to a state of high risk safety for your children, those are last case scenarios. Those are very, very, these are scenarios we don't hope to see. Hopefully we don't see. But the scenarios that I wouldn't say does happen, but it's about the level, the threshold of risk. If you're being seen to present as high risk to yourself and to people around you, for the protection of your children and for yourself, they might support you by looking after the children for the time being, and obviously continually assess you. And when you're deemed fit, safe to be around your children, deemed children being safe to be around you, they will support you to be together. But that's the worst case scenario. It's a worst case scenario. Your children are key protective factors for you, and we want to keep it that way. So seek help before you possibly get to that state.
And I do a lot of family cases, work for the courts. Like Toby said, even in the worst case scenarios, the courts recognise that removing children is counterproductive, and they will work with you. I mean, their interest is not to remove children from their parents. Both in the interest of yourself and the children. So please be assured, I work on lots of family cases, and that is not the case. But I think it's really, really important that you receive some timely support, and I mean, it must be difficult for you to even ask these questions, but you do seek the appropriate support. And I think it's really hard to comment, like Toby said, it's not a black and white answer because we don't have the full details. So yeah, but I work on a lot of family cases, and courts will not remove children from their caregivers unless there's something really, really extreme going on and there's a high risk. Just because somebody has a mental disorder doesn't mean they don't have the capacity to look after their children. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's interesting that when Doctor was delivering the talk, she mentioned that during a reflective practice that she has hosted, that she found out that staff mentioned that their coping mechanism is from their support group, especially their churches and their religious groups. So I want to encourage everyone on the group to make sure they are part of a church group. If you are a Christian or whatever your faith is, be part of a support group, because that's going to really, really help us with our mental health. So before I put the next question up, I don't know if anyone is here live. You've got a question you want to ask, please just indicate by raising your hands. I hope I'm going to see you so that you can ask your question. If there's something you want to know, if you have a question, please lift, just indicate, and then we'll deal with your question. Now, to our panel, someone is asking, let me look at this question. I just want to, what is the distinction between normal worrying or fear and actual disorder? What is the distinction between normal worrying or fear and actual disorder?
Okay, so in I mean, everybody worries, even I worry. I guess when it spills into a disorder, and the important thing to remember is, does it impact on my daily functioning? So am I worried to an extent whereby I cannot leave the house? Am I worried to an extent whereby I cannot sit an exam? So it's the level of impairment and the infringement it has on your daily activities. And that's where we talk about, is the worry disproportionate to the actual event? I mean, you know, a normal amount of worry is normal. You know, everybody worries. Even I worried before I was giving this presentation. I mean, I don't know, Toby, if you want to add to that.
Oh yes, I think I will. And I just want to say thank you to the person that that did come up with that question. I'll start with a case scenario, and I'll use myself as a case study. So a month ago, I've got two lovely girls, age 9 and 7. So a month ago, my first daughter asked me to change a bicycle, which I upgraded, and we went to our Ford, and they kind of measure her height, and they told me that this is the kind of bike she should have, and the bike was beautiful. She loved it. But where am I going? She had to have a kind of hard riding because her legs couldn't really touch the ground. And as a parent, that was a worry for me. It caused anxiety. As a matter of fact, I think I went to work the following day saying to myself, I think I made the wrong decision. I shouldn't have bought that bike. I should have bought something small like that. You know, I feel like saving for her. So where am I going? It's okay to worry. Everybody worries. I worry. That's why I made myself the case study. However, if your worries start leading to things like restlessness, marked paranoia, insomnia, it's actually going across the board. It's fine to worry. It's fine to wake up in the middle of the night and try to think about something. But you know, how do you deal with it? How do you make sure it doesn't step beyond what is, like you said in the question, normal, which is okay to worry, like I said. But you know, when you start going to a state of you have been restless, increasing your paranoia, you just know that there's something more to it than just being worried. And maybe you could just probably take time off yourself and, like say, just believe that things will be fine. Yeah, there's a marked difference between just being worried and stepping to something that could be going towards a threshold of a disorder. And it's quite important to be conscious of the fact that, am I just okay having a normal worry, or am I crossing the board to actually being too overboard, or overkilling, if I may use the word, the threshold of worrying I'm having, or the level of worrying I'm having. So yeah, so it's something individually we'll have to ask ourselves and just be conscious about. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you so much, Toby. And like Toby said, I want to thank everyone who has asked questions. I've got one more question that I'm going to put across to the panel. And then if we have any other question, then we'll deal with it. Could you please, particularly Dr. Sunita, could you please suggest to us how to overcome stigma associated with mental health and seek for help. Okay, and Toby also can chip in on this. Could you please suggest to this person how to overcome stigma associated with mental health disorder or mental illness and how to seek for help? You know, in our community, I could say, supporting the question, the person that put the question forward, in our community, mental illness is something you don't want to talk about because you stand the risk of being labeled, and that label will not stay with you alone. It stays with your family for life, because everybody said that family, they've got mental illness, don't go there. So you become untouchable. So how do we overcome this stigma? Doctor?
I mean, I think it's important that we have discussions like this, so we create awareness, we normalize it. And I think it's really about educating people as well. I know, coming from an Indian background as well, that there is lots of stigma associated with mental illness. People don't want to talk about it, or they think, oh, someone's done black magic as well. And that then kind of, you know, impacts the kind of the time that the delay in receiving treatment and etc. But I think with stigma, it's a collective approach. It's not something that, you know, one person can sort of do alone. I think it's having forums like this, it's raising awareness, it's talking about it. And I mean, it's not something that's going to go away overnight as well. We've got to kind of chip away at it, would be my view. I mean, you know, I don't have a kind of immediate solution right now, but I think it's work in progress.
Thank you, Dr. Toby.
Well, I think Dr. Sunita has said about everything, to be honest. But the question I will put across while trying to answer is that am I considering what people think about me, or I'm considering about looking after myself? People will label you for whatever the reason they want to. Take away from mental health, just move away from mental health. Just, it is what the world is. People will label you for being brown, for being white, for being, you know, for not being tall, for being too tall, for being a male, for being broad-chested, for being slim. But the key thing is this: I've got an issue here. I need help with. I don't need to know what people think about me. I need help. Get help. It's that simple. People will label, don't worry about that. You need help, get help, and look after yourself, your loved ones, and your family.
Thank you so much, Toby. Well, on this note, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Someone said, thanks to the panel, this has been quite an educative session. Someone said it's a very good, let me read it, presentation. Let me read it. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sunita. Really good presentation. So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Special thanks to Toby for being here tonight. I know he's very busy. You know, mental health, to be a mental health professional is a very, very, very busy profession. So thank you, Toby, for being here tonight. And also Dr. Sunita, we really, really thank you for your time. I know it's not just 30-minute presentation to present to us. You have to do a lot of studies and research. We deeply appreciate it. And from all of us at Docas and Impact Center, we say thank you to everyone for joining tonight. If you would love to listen to the talk again tonight, I'm going to upload it as soon as possible on our YouTube channel. So if you want to, you could just subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can have access to the talk again. On this note, BJ, thank you. Do you want to ask a question?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Everyone. Thank you all for joining us tonight. On this note, we're going just to draw the curtain. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I hope you've really learned something tonight. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Hello, quickly.
Thank you.
Hello.
I
Just
sent in a question, and it's on the Bookie's chat.
Oh, okay. So we still have 2 more minutes. Let's quickly deal with that. What's the question? Bukola, can you please read the question out to us? Bukola, please read the question out to us.
So it says, if you notice someone you think is going through PPSD, but is not ready to get help, what can you do?
I think it's a really important question. I mean, we can't kind of impose any kind of decisions on somebody. I think it's important that if you do recognise that somebody is suffering from symptoms that might be consistent with this diagnosis, if you like, that you're there for them, and they know that you are there for them whenever. And that you've pointed or signposted them to places that they can receive help. And I think that's the most important thing, or the only thing that you can do, is be that consistent friend figure for that person, would be my professional advice or opinion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Toby. Have you got
Thank you,
anything to
Doctor.
add to that?
I'll leave it at that. I think the key thing is just be there to listen. That's where it starts from. Just let them know that you're there to listen and you care.
Thank you, Toby. And thank you. That's my brother that has the question. Thank you, everyone. My brother from Ireland. Thank you for joining us tonight. BJ from Montreal in Canada. Thank you for joining us tonight. And everyone on the platform, it's our hope that at Dorcas here, we're going to create platform for conversation like this. That is one of the main things that Doctor does. So the next talk we're going to have, we get the information out quickly so that we can have many people on the platform. So, like we said, it's all about ignorance. The moment we are aware, the problem is half solved. So on this note, we're going to draw the curtain. Once again, thank you to the panel. Thank you, Dr. Sunita. Thank you, Toby, and everyone that joined us tonight. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you, if you allow me to say that. God bless you.
Yeah.
Just wanted
Thank
to say
you, Doctor. Thank you, Toby. Thank you, everyone.
thank you. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to do the presentation. Thank you so much. Hope you all have a good rest of the evening and a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.